Welcome to another chapter of the Lemonade War. My name is Mr. Pete. I'm a fourth grade teacher and my students are reading this book, but post these on YouTube so that everybody can use them, everybody can enjoy them. And if you enjoy this chapter, this book, please make sure that you subscribe to the channel. I appreciate all the comments from those of you that are reading these books with me, but give it a chance. And perhaps you can join in on the community that we're building here at my YouTube channel. We are about to start chapter 8, Going Global. For my students, please make sure that you write setting at the top of the page. Know that the settings through the end of this book are going to be changing very quickly. So while you might write something here, know that as the pages go on, this is going to be one of those rapidly changing settings. So really pay attention to where the story currently is and where the backstory is when they do some anecdotes and as they kind of move forward where they're going from there. Chapter 8 is Going Global, and of course, this is coming off of a huge performance by Evan with his town center while Officer Ken shut him down. It was not too soon. He made $65 and he now has $103.11. This is a Jessie chapter. How will she respond? Going global. Global, highlight that vocabulary word. Throughout the world refers to expanding one's market beyond the immediate area of production. So global means worldwide, and I also want you to highlight expanding and put a V above that. Expanding means you're going to grow your business. Jessie chapter. What does that mean? On Saturday morning, Jessie slept in, and even when she opened her eyes at 9:05, she still felt tired. How can I wake up tired? She wondered as she buried her face in her pillow and dozed off. 5 minutes later, she was awake for real, remembering why she was so tired. Yesterday's lemonade stand had been the hardest work of her life. Face painting, hair braiding, nail polishing. It had sounded like such a good idea. Jessie had been sure that every kid in the neighborhood would line up to buy a cup of lemonade. But that was the problem. Every kid had lined up for lemonade and then wanted face painting and hair braiding and fingernail polishing and toenail polishing. One boy had asked for face paintings on both cheeks, both arms, and his stomach. One girl wanted different colors and decals, and it was impossible to get them to sit still long enough for the polish to dry. We're going to run out of lemonade, Megan had said to Jessie at noon as the line stretched all the way to the street. Pour half cups instead of full ones, whispered Jessie. It has to last. Jessie and Megan had each made $24 on lemonade, but they'd worked 8 hours to do it. At the end of the day, they'd agreed. A good idea, but not worth it. After breakfast, Jessie pulled out her lockbox and sat on her bed. She kept the box hidden in her closet on a shelf under some sweaters. She kept the key in a plastic box in her desk drawer. The plastic box was disguised to look exactly like a pack of gum. You would never know it was hollow and had a secret sliding panel on its side. Jessie unlocked the box and opened the lid. First, she took out the 3 torn slips of paper. There was one for value added and one for goodwill. There was also a new one that Jessie had added last night. Profit margin. Margin, vocabulary word. Sales less all operating costs divided by the number of sales. The result is a ratio. Also highlight that. For example, if it costs you $300 to make 100 hats and you sell those hats for $500, the profit margin is 500 minus 300 divided by 100 equals 2/1. Jessie lined up all 3 scraps of paper on the bed beside her. She wasn't sure why she was saving these words, but she felt like they belonged in her block box. Next, she took out her lemonade earnings. Every day, Megan had squealed over how much money they'd made, but every day Jessie had known it's not enough. It's not going to be enough to win. Jessie counted the money. So far, she had earned $40. It was a lot of money, but it wasn't nearly enough. She still needed to earn $60 more, and today was Saturday. Only 2 more selling days before she and Evan counted their earnings on Sunday night. How was she going to sell enough lemonade to earn $60 in 2 days? She couldn't. That was the problem. No kid could earn $100 in just 5 days by selling lemonade. The profit margin, and I highlighted that and put a vocab. So remember, like the profit margin is how much you, it's a ratio that shows you how much money you're going to make based on how much you earn and how much you spend. The profit margin was too small. She knew because she'd used her calculator to figure it out last night. The number said it all. There was no way 2 girls in one neighborhood could sell 375 cups of lemonade. Nobody wanted that much lemonade, no matter how hot the day was. Jessie looked at the money in her lockbox and the page of the calculations on her desk. Any other kid would have quit. But Jessie wasn't a quitter. On good days, Jessie's mom called her persistent. Highlight, vocabulary word. You know, if you're persistent, you keep going no matter what. That's why I like all of my students super persistent. On bad days, she told her she just didn't know when enough was enough. So again, there's a character trait for Jessie. And what I wrote, I highlighted persistent, put V above it, and then I drew an arrow right below it, and I put CH, trait, T-R-A-I-T. Profit margin for 1 can of lemonade, 8 cups. Sales, 8 cups at 50 cents a cup equals 8 times 50, which equals $4. Okay, so you make $4. Operating costs, lemonade costs $1.25. 8 paper cups cost equals 15 cents. Total operating costs equals $1.40. Number of sales, 8 cups equals 8 sales. Profit margin, $4 minus the $1.40 that they spent to make all of that money, divided by 8. $2.60 divided by 8, so $4 minus $1.40 is $2.60 divided by 8, which equals a 325 thousandths over 1. So this means that for every 1 cup of lemonade sold, we earn about 32 cents. I get half the profit and Megan gets half the profit. That means I earn about 16 cents for every cup we sell. I need to earn $60 to beat Evan. $60 equals 6,000 cents because 60 times 100 equals 6,000. So how many times does 16 go into 6,000? 6,000 divided by 16 equals how many cups I need to sell, equals 375. I need to sell 375 cups of lemonade. I am doomed. Jessie reached for 10 bright ideas to light up your sails. It was on her bedside table, right next to Charlotte's Web. Jessie's hand hovered. She looked longingly at Wilbur and Fern watching Charlotte hanging by a thread. But this was war, and she couldn't stop to read for fun. She grabbed the booklet and opened it to bright idea number 6. An hour later, she had a new scrap of paper stashed in her lockbox and a whole new page of calculations on her desk. It might work. It could work, but she and Megan would have to risk everything they'd earned over the past 3 days, and Jessie would have to be braver than she had ever been in her whole life. Jessie carried her lockbox and calculations downstairs. She went into the kitchen and pulled down the school directory, scanning the names of all the 3rd grade girls from last year. She knew them all, from Evan, from recess, from the lunchroom, knew who they were, knew their faces, which ones were nice, which ones were not so nice, but she didn't really know any of them. Not enough to call them up. Not enough to say, "Want to do something today?" Not enough to ask, "Would you like to have a lemonade stand with me?" These girls were going to be her classmates. Jessie felt her face grow hot and her upper lip start to sweat. What was it going to feel like to walk into that classroom on the first day of school with all those eyes looking at her? Would they stare? Would they tease? Would they ignore her even if she said hi? Jessie looked at the names and slammed the directory shut. She couldn't do it. She just wasn't brave enough. Evan walked into the kitchen and grabbed an apple from the fruit bowl. A cloud of fruit flies rose up in the air and settled again. I highlighted that. They keep mentioning these fruit flies. It seems weird. So I highlighted that. I wrote fruit flies again next to it. Evan inspected the apple and then bit into it without washing it first. Jessie wanted to say something but held her tongue. She looked at him and thought, it is never going to feel normal not talking to Evan. Hey, she said. Evan raised his apple to her, his mouth too stuffed to talk. So is Paul coming over today? She asked. Evan shook his head, munching noisily. Well, is anyone coming over? Jessie was curious to see what the enemy was up to today. Yesterday, Evan's smile had told her plenty. He had sold a lot of lemonade. A lot. But what was he going to do today? Evan shrugged his shoulders. He swallowed so hard it looked like he was choking down an ocean liner. Simile, hyperbole. Swallowing the apple to the ocean liner is the simile. The hyperbole, obviously, it didn't look like that. But you are setting up a stand, right? Asked Jessie. Nah, I'm good, said Evan, looking closely at his apple. I'm just going to take it easy today. He took another enormous bite and walked out of the kitchen and down the basement stairs. Take it easy? How could he take it easy? You couldn't take it easy when you were in the middle of a war. Evan is not selling lemonade. I want you to think about that in your head. Is that smart or a mistake? Unless he had already won the war. Could that be possible? It was impossible. There was no way Evan had earned $100 in just 3 days of selling lemonade. No way. Remember that phrase, pride goeth before a fall, for Evan? He thinks he's won. Jessie's mind skittered like one of those long-legged birds on the beach. Her mind to birds highlight simile. Also highlight skittered, maybe in a different color. Vocabulary word, skittered. Her mind is like skipping over things really fast, trying to get to the answer. Had he? Could he? Were her calculations wrong? Was there some other way? Had she overlooked some detail, some trick? Was she missing something? Jessie flipped open the school directory. Maybe he had $100. Maybe he didn't. She couldn't take a chance. She started putting pencil check marks next to the names of girls she thought might work out. She'd gone over the list twice when the doorbell rang. It was Megan. I've got a new idea, said Jessie. Oh, not more lemonade, said Megan, sinking onto the couch in the family room. Tired of selling lemonade, and it's just too hot. I practically had sunstroke yesterday painting all those faces. Highlight hyperbole. We're done with that, said Jessie. No more extra services. Doesn't pay off. But here's an idea. Forget lemonade. Let's go to the 7-Eleven, said Megan. Is Evan home? We could all go. No, he's not home, said Jessie, eyeing the door to the basement. She needed Megan to be on board with her plan. She needed Megan to make the phone calls. Look, this is great, and we don't need to sell the lemonade. Jessie laid out all of the details. She showed Megan the new scrap of paper. Notice how she lied about Evan being home. Franchise, verb, the right to sell a company's products and use the company's name and logo in a certain area. So for example, the McDonald's in Erie, most McDonald's aren't owned by McDonald's, they're owned by other people, but you buy the franchise, you buy the right to use the McDonald's name, and then you make some of the profit and McDonald's makes some of the profit. So she wants to franchise her business. Then she showed Megan her page of calculations. At first, Megan buried her head under a pillow, but then she poked her head out like a turtle and started to listen for real. Highlight, simile, that's comparing Megan's head to a turtle head. That sounds like a pretty good plan, she said, but is it really going to work? Jessie looked at her calculations. She'd done them twice. It should, she said. I really think it should. She frowned, suddenly not so sure of herself. It's a big upfront investment. Highlight vocab word. An investment is when you put a lot of money into something and then get money back. And a lot of work organizing everybody, but once they're set up, we should just be able to sit back and watch the money roll in. The key is spreading everybody out so there'll be plenty of customers. We'll need at least 10 girls, 15 would be better. So I want you to picture what she's talking about. It sounds like they're not making lemonade. but they're going to be getting 10 to 15 girls. That's the whole fourth grade class, said Megan, looking doubtful. How are we going to get them to do this? Well, you could phone them all up, said Jessie. She handed Megan the school directory, open to the third grade page. Me? Said Megan. Why me? Because they know you, said Jessie. They know you too. Yeah, but they like you. Megan shook her head. Not all these girls are my friends. Even the ones that aren't your friends, they still like you. Everybody likes you, Megan. Megan looked embarrassed. Oh, everybody likes you too, she said. No, they don't, said Jessie. They really don't. There was an uncomfortable silence between the two girls. Then Jessie shrugged her shoulders and said, I don't know why those girls in my class last year didn't like me. I'm hoping this year will be better. So you can see this keeps on kind of winding in and out of the story. As much as we're like, it's not fair to Evan that she's jumping into the class, we have to remember that this is super scary for Jessie, who's jumping into the class younger than everybody else. And obviously her brother's not being very helpful with that right now. Megan tapped her fingers on her knees. You're nervous, huh? About fourth grade, she asked. Jessie thought hard. I'm worried that I won't make any new friends, she said. You know, that all the kids will think I'm just some puny second grader, and that, she took a deep breath, I don't belong. Megan looked up at the ceiling for a minute. Do you have an index card? She asked. Huh? I need an index card, said Megan. Do you have one? Jessie went to the kitchen desk and got an index card. She handed it to Megan. Megan started to write something on the card. What are you doing? Asked Jessie. I'm writing a comment card, said Megan. That's something you're going to miss from third grade. We did it every Friday. We each got assigned a person, and you had to write something positive about that person on an index card. Then it got read out loud. She folded up the card and handed it to Jessie. Jessie unfolded the card and read what Megan had written. So these positive cards, by the way, are something that I always do. So starting now, once we read this section, be expecting some index cards now and then. And you also can ask me for index cards. I will put them in both classrooms so that you can make some positive cards about your friends. You're a really nice person, and you have good ideas all the time. You're fun to be with, and I'm glad you're my friend. It's a good, think of a character trait for Megan there. Jessie stared at the index card. She kept reading the words over and over. Thanks, she whispered. You can keep it, said Megan. That's what I did. I've got all my comment cards in a basket on my desk, and whenever I'm feeling sad or kind of down on myself, I read through them. They really help me feel better. Jessie folded the index card and put it in her lockbox. She was going to save it forever. It was like having a magic charm. Highlight those two sentences. A simile, obviously, comparing that card to a magic charm. So she's feeling really good now. So, how about I make half the phone calls and you make the other half, said Jessie. So she's telling her, be brave. I'm here. Okay, said Megan, jumping up from the couch. Think about what level Megan is. Maybe write it right down in your book. You can leave a comment below. For those of you that don't have me in class, I teach Kohlberg's levels. Level 1 is being afraid of getting in trouble. Level 2 is wanting a reward. Level 3 is trying to be a teacher pleaser. Level 4 is being a rule follower. Level 5 is being an empathetic person. That's the level we strive for. And then level 6 is having our own moral code and just doing the right thing. We also created a level 0, which is I think of myself first. Which level would Megan be? It was surprising how many almost fourth grade girls had absolutely nothing to do 3 days before school started. In less than an hour, Jessie and Megan had 13 lemonade franchises signed up for the day. The rest of the day was work, but it was fun. Jessie and Megan attached the old baby carrier to Megan's bike, then rode to the grocery store and spent every penny of their earnings on lemonade mix, 52 cans. They actually bought out the store. The 4 bags of cans filled the carrier like a boxy baby. Simile. What's being compared there? You come up with it. They also brought 5 packages of paper cups. When they got back to Megan's house, Jessie tucked the receipt in her lockbox, right next to her comment card. Jessie liked receipts. They were precise, highlight vocab, precise, perfect, and complete. A receipt always told the whole story, right down to the very last penny. This is a character trait for Jessie. Again, she's a very precise kid. She likes everything to be perfect. And if you look at the receipt that is sitting on the page, like, she needs perfection. So this is all of their money. Taste Right Lemonade, $65. Pixie Paper Cups, $14.25. The subtotal to that is $79.25 plus 75 cents tax, means $80 total. So they bought $80, used all of their money to make this lemonade stand. Can they pass Evan? Does Megan even know that they're competing? Remember, we talked about win-win, win-lose, lose-lose. What kind of scenario for themselves did they create? For them and the girls, if they really start selling lemonade. Then they tossed construction paper and art supplies into the carrier and started making the rounds. First stop, Sally Knight's house. She was ready for them with a table, chair, and empty pitcher all set up. Jessie mixed the lemonade. Megan quickly made a lemonade for sale, 75 cents a cup sign, and they left Sally to her business. The deal was that Sally got to keep 1/3 of the profits and Jessie and Megan got to keep the rest. So the person making the sales gets 1/3, and then Megan and Jessie get 1/3 each as well. After they'd set up all 13 lemonade stands, each with enough mix to make 4 pitchers of lemonade, Jessie and Megan hung out at Megan's house, baking brownies and watching TV. Then they hopped on their bikes again and made the rounds. So what are the brownies for? Jessie and Megan stopped in front of Sally's house first. The lemonade stand was nowhere to be seen. "What do you think is going on?" asked Megan. Jessie had a bad feeling in her stomach. Something must have gone wrong. They rang the doorbell. Sally came to the door. "Hurry," she said, grabbing their arms and pulling them inside. "My mom goes totally mental when the AC is on and the door is open." Ooh, I forgot there. So highlight Sally character. And then notice the changing settings. We haven't talked about settings since I told you to write setting at the top. So kind of maybe go back and kind of flip through the pages. And, you know, they were in Jessie's house to begin with, and then they went to the store, and now they are going around town to all of these different stops. Or at Sally's house, they went back and they to Megan's and made brownies. So this changing throughout the day setting. "Where's your stand?" asked Jessie nervously, feeling goosebumps ripple up her arms because of the suddenly cool air. Sally waved her hand. "Done," she said. "I sold out in like half an hour. It's so darn hot. We made $24 besides tips. Do I get to keep the tips?" "Sure," said Jessie. Tips? She'd forgotten about those on her calculations page. Sally handed Jessie some crumpled bills and an avalanche of coins. $8 for Jessie and Megan each. Avalanche of coins. Highlight that. Hyperbole. So they made $8 each, and they have 12 more stands to go. But if they make $8 each at all 13 stands, how many dollars and quarters will they get? How much money will they get for that? 13 times 8 for one person. "You want to stay and have some ice cream?" Sally asked. "Okay," said Megan, "and we brought you a thank you brownie, you know, for being part of our team." That had been bright idea number 9, so she's doing like goodwill with the brownies. After a bowl of the Moose's Loose ice cream, Jessie and Megan headed out. The story was the same at every girl's house. The lemonade had sold out quickly, and the money just kept rolling in. "I can't believe how much did we make?" squealed Megan once they got back to her house. $104 each, shouted Jessie. She couldn't stop hopping from one foot to the other. "I've never seen so much money in my life." So $104 each. Each. Evan was at $103.11 and was not making any more lemonade. Jessie was already running numbers in her head, subtracting the $80 that she and Megan had spent on lemonade and cups. Each girl had made a profit of $64. If they increased the number of franchises from 13 to 26, they could each make $128 in one day. If they ran the 26 franchises every day for 1 week, they could each make $896. Jessie pulled out a piece of paper and scribbled a graph. The sky was the limit. Hyperbole. Megan pretended to faint when Jessie showed her the graph. What are you going to do with your money? She asked from the floor. And there you can see the franchise. The franchise, 13 franchises, $64. 26 franchises, $128 in one day, and makes $896 in 7 days if they were going to run a lemonade stand for 7 days. Win the war, thought Jessie. Oops, she couldn't say that to Megan. Megan didn't even know about the lemonade war. After all, Megan liked Evan. Jessie suddenly wondered, if Megan knew about the war, whose side would she be on? Prediction? Would she be on Jessie's side, or would she be on Evan's side? All at once, Jessie felt as if Evan were a hawk circling high above, waiting to swoop down and snatch Megan away. Simile, comparing Evan to a hawk. What a scary thing that must be for Jessie, her one friend. And she probably made friends today, especially since she helped them make a lot of money. But Megan's kind of her life preserver right now. Oh, she was so mad at him. He deserved to lose everything. Is $104 enough to win? Wondered Jessie. Surely Evan couldn't have earned more than that. Still, better safe than sorry. She would work all day tomorrow, Sunday, selling lemonade. So, said Megan, what are you going to do with the money? She was kicking off her sneakers and fanning herself with a magazine. Jessie said, I'm going to donate all my money to the Animal Rescue League. Megan stopped, waving the magazine. Oh, that is so nice of you. I want to donate my money too. She dropped the magazine and started shoving her money toward Jessie. Here, give mine to the Animal Rescue League too. On the card, just put both our names. She just gave Jessie all the money. The money came at her so fast Jessie didn't know what to say. There it was, $208. $208, all in her hands. She had won. She had really and truly won the lemonade war. Just promise me one thing, said Megan. No lemonade stand tomorrow, okay? Okay, said Jessie. She didn't need a lemonade stand on Sunday if she had $208 today. My dad said tomorrow's the last day before the heat breaks, said Megan. So we're going to the beach for the whole day. Want to come? Sure, said Jessie. Maybe Evan wants to come too, said Megan. Jessie shook her head. No, Evan's busy all day tomorrow. He told me he's got plans. Megan shrugged. Too bad for him. Yep, said Jessie, thinking of all that money. Too bad for him. So Jessie's going to the beach tomorrow, not having a lemonade stand. Evan didn't have a lemonade stand that day and has one more day left. What's going to happen? I don't know. Predictions. What's going to happen? The next chapter, chapter 9, negotiation. Negotiation. What does that mean when you negotiate? What a roller coaster ride this book has been. You can see side with Evan, side with Jessie. So right now, are you siding with anybody? Imagine if they were working together on this, by the way. Think about how much money they would have then. They could donate money, they could get an iPod. And then, of course, we talked about win-win, win-lose, lose-lose. And often, when you're in a win-lose situation, because someone's losing that means something to you, everyone ends up losing. We shall see how this turns out. Right now, both of them have a lot of money. What's going to happen on this last day with Jessie supposedly going to the beach and Evan at home thinking that he's already won? Fireworks coming up. Find out in chapter 9. Thanks for reading. For all of those that are with you, for Mr. Pete's class, make sure you've got notes in your book. And I will check in with you tomorrow. For everybody else, thank you for joining me. Chapter 9 will be up soon. So I will see you all on the next page. Peace.